I'm going to do the review on the Naked Palette 3. I recently purchased the Vault, and this came in it, and it was my first high-end purchase. And I wanted to do a review for anybody else who might be new to high-end makeup like me, who isn't a pro at makeup and is coming at it from a clean perspective. But this was the one I was most excited about, and that's why I wanted to do a review on this one first. It's the Naked Palette 3, and it's a beautiful rose gold tin, and inside are some very pretty rose gold pink colors and brown colors, and I was so excited for this palette. I was sure that this one was going to be my favorite one. Now, I have not purchased Urban Decay before, nor have I ever tried it out. So I had high expectations considering this is a $54 palette, and I had never tried a $50 palette before. So I was coming at it with kind of high expectations. When I first swatched them on my arm, and I have light skin, the colors really did not show up at all. I was like, is this for real? Like, they just were not showing up. They were falling out, and you could hardly see it. And I was thinking that I've seen drugstore makeup with more pigment than this, and I was really kind of shocked because I was expecting a lot from this. But then somebody told me to make sure that you use primer, and I did purchase Urban Decay eyeshadow primer. I purchased this. And so then I tried the swatches again, and I put the primer on my arm, and they came out better. And then I've also messed with this palette. I've done my eyes with them. And I have to say, you do need the primer. This will not work without the primer, especially if you have light skin like I do. I'm very, very fair. And yeah, so if you're going to purchase this palette, make sure that you do have a good eyeshadow primer. The primer did help a lot in these eyeshadows keeping their color, and the primer did make it last all day. I did do some swatches for you. I prepped my arm with foundation and a little bit of eye primer. I didn't overdo it on the eye primer because it's, you know, kind of expensive, and I didn't want to waste too much of it. So I didn't overdo the eye primer. And so with foundation and a little bit of eye primer, this is what I got for swatches. And as you can see, there is not a whole lot of pigment in that. And like I said, I didn't overdo it on the eye primer. So that's how it came out. That's more pigment than came out when I first swatched it without the primer. But in the front here are all the rose gold pinks, and then towards the back is the darker colors. So the darker colors get a little bit more pigment, but really, I mean, just with a little bit of primer and foundation, that does not look like it comes from a high-end palette. But, you know, like I said, you gotta definitely use the eyeshadow primer and make sure that you don't skimp on the eyeshadow primer to get these colors to show up. Would I purchase this particular palette again? No, I wouldn't, just because I kind of feel like for the money, I feel like there should be more pigment that shows up. And they're buildable colors, but I kind of feel like you should get more pigment within a brush stroke. And these swatches are about 3 brush strokes each. And there's not a lot of pigment with each brush stroke without a good amount of eyeshadow primer. But if you just look at them, they are so pretty. With a lot of primer, though, you can do some pretty, you can do your eyes up real pretty. So, you know, just keep that in mind. If you want to purchase this palette, make sure you get the primer. I will be doing reviews on some of the other palettes that came in the Naked Vault. And the next video I'll be doing shortly here is of my favorite one. Okay, thanks for watching. If you're interested in seeing those videos, like and subscribe.